There's a whisper that visits you in the quiet moments, just after you have turned off the light and the world sleeps. It is a voice not of sound, but of feeling, a cold current that brushes against your soul. That secret question you have never dared to speak aloud. The one that asks if your hidden kindness ever truly mattered. The one that wonders if the sacrifices you make in the shadows are seen by anyone at all. If the compassion you extend when no one is watching has any weight in the universe. You give the last of your energy to someone who takes it for granted. You offer a listening ear to a friend who never asks about your own battles, and you pour from a cup that feels perpetually empty. You do it because your heart is forged this way, because something inside you compels you to love, to give. But then the night comes, and in the solitude of your own room, the weight of it all settles upon your chest like a physical stone. Your mind races, replaying the day, the week, the years of unreciprocated grace. The ceiling becomes a screen for your anxieties, projecting your deepest fears about the future, the mounting bills, and the loneliness that feels like a constant companion. You long for a sign, a confirmation that your silent warfare has a purpose, that your unseen tears are water for a garden you cannot yet see. And what if I told you that there's a scroll in the heavenly places, and that your name is written on it, not in ink of gold, but in the permanent marks of your own compassion? Every secret prayer you have whispered for another soul, every dollar you gave when you yourself were in need, every hour of sleep you lost comforting a friend, every time you chose forgiveness when bitterness was easier. The world calls these small things, overlooked things, forgotten things. But in the economy of the kingdom, they are the currency of honor. The Lord your Father does not operate on a system of public recognition and human applause. His accounting is done in secret, and his rewards are born in the very heart of your unseen sacrifices. You feel that your kindness goes unnoticed by the people you help, but it has been the focal point of intense admiration from the one who fashioned the stars. Your heart is a treasure that he guards with fierce jealousy, and your secret life of love is a fragrant offering that fills the throne room. But here's the part that your mind struggles to grasp, the revelation that will redefine your understanding of reward itself. You see, this is not a transaction. This is not about God keeping a celestial scoreboard, adding up your points to determine a prize. That is a small human way of seeing things. The Almighty does not reward you because you have earned it like an employee receiving a paycheck. He rewards you because your actions have revealed your heart, and your heart is what he desires above all else. Your consistent kindness when you receive no credit, your relentless goodness when you are met with indifference, your unshakable faith when circumstances scream at you to despair. These are not duties you perform. They are declarations of who you are. You are a reflection of his own heart on the earth, an outpost of his grace in a world that often runs on selfishness. When you choose to love the unlovely, you are not just being a nice person. You are being a prophetic signpost pointing to a reality greater than this one. God is not impressed by your strength. He is captivated by your surrender. He is not moved by your perfection, but by your persistence to love, even in your imperfection. Your secret acts of kindness are the evidence you are presenting in the court of eternity, and the judgment is resounding victory. Think about it. Why did David, a shepherd boy in a forgotten field, capture the heart of God long before he faced a giant T? It was not because he was a great king or a mighty warrior. It was because of his heart in the secret place, his poems of praise in the dark, his trust when he was hunted and alone. God does not need your public success to validate your private devotion. In fact, it is in the private place where your true character is forged, and where his admiration for you grows into an unstoppable force. That feeling of being invisible, that weight of giving and not receiving, that exhaustion from loving with no return. That is the soil where the most powerful rewards are planted. And the harvest that is coming is not a simple blessing. It is a complete and total restoration. It is a viral recompense that will make you forget the years of lack, the moments of loneliness, and the nights of weeping. The nature of this divine reward is so profound, so utterly personalized to the secret sacrifices you have made, that it feels almost too wonderful to be true. And what heaven is about to release into your life because of the things you thought went unnoticed. This is a current of divine justice, a reversal of every wrong you have endured. The world taught you to look for a return on your investment, a thank you note, a promotion, a public acknowledgement. You were trained to measure your value by visible results and human praise. But I am here to dismantle that entire framework of thinking. That system is the law of the limited mind, not the law of the limitless God. You feel invisible because you are looking for validation from people who are spiritually blind. They cannot see the celestial currency you are accumulating. They cannot perceive the fragrant aroma of your sacrifices rising like incense before the very throne of grace. Your frustration comes from trying to receive a withdrawal from an empty ATM because you have been depositing your treasures in the wrong bank. You have been investing in the approval of man, when all along, the King of Kings has been the sole and fervent admirer of your secret portfolio of love. The Lord does not see as man sees. Man looks at the outward appearance, at the loud personality, at the charismatic leader, at the person who takes all the credit. But the Lord looks directly at the heart. Do you remember the story of Samuel? The prophet was sent to the house of Jesse to anoint the next king of Israel, and Samuel saw Eliab, the eldest son. He was tall, strong, and looked every bit the part of a king. Samuel, guided by his own human eyes, was ready to anoint him on the spot. But the voice of God stopped him cold. As it is recorded for us in 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7, the Lord said to Samuel, "Do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him." The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. That single verse is the entire operating system of the kingdom of God. It is the divine declaration that your secret life is your most significant life. God is not watching your public performance for the crowd. He is captivated by your private devotion in the quiet. And this is not just an ancient story about a shepherd boy. This is the very principle that is actively governing your life right now, in this very moment. The people who overlooked your kindness were the Samuel looking at Eliab. They saw only what was on the surface, a quiet person in the background, and they missed the royal heart beating within you. But God, the ultimate source of all approval, has been looking past the exterior, past the quiet demeanor, past the lack of fanfare. He has been staring with immense admiration directly at your heart, at the choices you make when no one is clapping. He has seen you give when you had little, love when you were hurt, and forgive when it was not deserved. Every single one of those moments was an interview for a position you did not even know you were applying for. A promotion in the spirit realm that is about to manifest in the natural. Your life is not a story of being overlooked. It is a story of being handpicked by a king who values what no one else can see. This divine reward system works on a principle of spiritual weight and substance. Your secret deeds have weight in the heavens. They create a reality. They become a foundation upon which God can build something spectacular and permanent. Think of yourself as a secret construction site. Every act of unseen kindness is another brick laid. Every secret prayer is a steel beam of reinforcement. Every choice to walk in integrity is pouring the concrete for a fortress of peace in your soul. The exhaustion you feel, that deep weariness in your bones, is not a sign of failure. It is the holy fatigue of the laborer, the good and faithful servant who has been building in the dark. You have been pregnant with a promise, and the pressuring contractions of life have not been meant to destroy you, but to bring forth something new and beautiful. The birth of your new season is imminent, and it is a direct result of the divine construction project that has been happening in secret within you. But here is a deeper mystery, a layer to this reward that you have not yet considered. What if the provision and the honor that are about to be poured into your life are not just meant to stop with you? It is a common mistake to believe that God's blessing is merely a personal comfort. What if your secret acts of kindness have been creating a deep well of miracles within you? A reservoir of supernatural provision destined for your family, your children, and your future generation. People may have ignored you, but a time is coming when they will run to you, not for your wisdom or your advice, but because the presence that you carry in secret, the one you have nurtured in your hidden moments, will be a tangible source of peace, a financial breakthrough, of physical healing. Your life will become a monument to the faithfulness of God, a walking testimony that rewards the heart. You will become a distributor of the very grace you have been sowing. The kindness you gave away will be multiplied and returned to you as a river of provision flowing through you to others. And just as that reality begins to settle in your spirit, you must understand that there is a specific key that unlocks this deep well of supernatural provision. It is not found in striving or in pleading. It is a key hidden in plain sight, a promise that King David himself discovered while running for his life, hiding in a cave, surrounded by his enemies. It is a promise that will forever change how you approach prayer, and it is the first miracle that is about to spring forth from the soil of your secret suffering. And the key that David discovered, the secret weapon that turns a cave into a cathedral, is not a sword forged in fire, nor an army waiting on the hill of Gal. It is an act of spiritual rebellion so counterintuitive that the principalities of evil never see it coming. That key is deliberate praise in the midst of desolation, an act of worship born not of victory, but of the wound. Picture it now with crystal clarity. Do not look at David from a distance. Step inside that scene. You are in that cave of Adullam. The air is cold and damp. It smells of wet earth and despair. The darkness is not an absence of light. It is a presence, a thick and viscous substance that sticks to your skin. The only sounds are the constant dripping of water on the rocks, a dull rhythm that marks the passage of time, and the distant echo of your own breathing, which sounds agitated and fearful. You are crouched against a cold stone wall. And from the deep shadows of that cavern, voices begin to emerge. They are not human voices. They are parasitic whispers that creep into your mind. They are the echoes of every rejected acceptance, of every unrequited favor. One voice whispers that you are a fool for being so good. Another replays the mockery of someone you helped. A third voice, deeper and more authoritative, reads you a contract of failure, detailing each of your weaknesses and every moment you have fallen. It is a liturgy of slander, a chorus of accusations designed to shatter your spirit. Fear becomes a physical pressure, as if the walls of the cave were slowly closing in around you to crush you. You feel the temptation to scream, to bang your head against the rock to silence that torment, to surrender and declare the battle lost. But what happens when you decide that the last remnant of your breath will not be for complaint, but for praise? With trembling hands and his face bathed in tears, David did exactly that. Instead of arguing with his demons, instead of fighting the darkness with his own strength, he did something that completely disarmed the spiritual realm. He raised his voice, not to ask for a rescue, but to declare the greatness of his rescuer. He began to sing. It was not a happy and light song. It was a hymn born from the mud, a praise that smelled of sweat and wounds. Every note was a bullet of grace against the lies. Every verse was a declaration of war against hopelessness. "The Lord is my rock and my fortress," he sang in a place where he only felt sand and weakness. "My safe refuge," he proclaimed when the walls threatened to crush him. He was not denying his reality. He was invoking a higher reality. He was empowering the truth of God above the truth of his circumstances. And in that very instant, when your breath becomes a sacrifice of worship, something happens that hell cannot calculate, something that destabilizes the very foundations of the kingdom of darkness. The atmosphere of the cave changes instantly. The thick, viscous darkness begins to recede, not because an external light has been turned on, but because an internal light has been activated. Christ, the very rock you are leaning against, begins to radiate warmth and glory. The whispers of fear are overwhelmed by the sound of praise, and they vanish like smoke. From the cracks in the rock, a golden glow begins to seep through, illuminating dust particles that were previously invisible. The cave ceased to be a prison and became the most sacred place on earth, an improvised throne for the King of the universe who delights in the worship of a broken heart. What you saw as your lowest point became your highest launching platform. The cave of your persecution became the cradle of your anointing. The pain that tried to destroy you became the fuel for your greatest testimony and the refuge of your deepest intimacy with your Father. This is the type of reward that is being prepared for you. It is not a simple blessing. It is the spiritual promotion that transforms you from victim to authority. The long years in which you felt invisible were not a punishment. They were your training period in the secret cave. Your loneliness was not abandonment. It was your appointment for intimacy with the Master of the universe. Every sleepless night was a clandestine worship session where he taught you to sing in the dark. Every act of unrequited kindness was another brick on the altar of your sacrifice. You have been in intensive training, learning the art of spiritual warfare through praise. You have been shaped in the shadows so that you do not depend on the light of men. You have been pushed into the caves of life so that you discover that your Father himself is your refuge and your strength, a help always present in distress. The secret battle you have fought has prepared the ground for a public victory that you cannot even begin to imagine. And now, as you understand this truth, the spirit of fear and hopelessness that has haunted your life receives an evacuation order. Every debt of grace that you paid in secret now becomes a deposit of supernatural favor. Every tear that fell on your pillow becomes a pearl of honor in your spiritual crown. Your story is not a tale of defeat and forgetting. It is the prologue to an epic of divine restoration. You are about to come out of the cave, not running defeated, but walking with the authority of someone who has known God in the depths of loneliness. The fragrance of your worship in dark places has ascended to the nostrils of heaven, and your Father is right now mobilizing the angels to remove every obstacle, so that your path to the promise is cleared and triumphant. You have been tested in the fire of invisibility, and you have come out as pure gold. Your reward is not a consolation prize. It is your birthright. Your birthright is to walk in this peace, to live from this place of divine assurance where you are completely known and completely loved. The agitation in your spirit ceases not because your circumstances have magically vanished, but because your perspective has been eternally anchored in the rock of his affection for you. This is the reward that transcends what the eye can see or the hand can touch. This is the restoration of your soul, the mending of the invisible wounds you carried for so long, thinking no one noticed. Every scar from a secret sacrifice is now being kissed by heaven, transformed into a mark of honor, a gleaming testament to your faithfulness. You can breathe now. You can release that breath you did not even realize you were holding. Inhale his goodness and exhale every weight of worry and the residues of rejection. The performance is over. The striving has ended. There is no more need to prove your worth, to fight for recognition, or to earn your place. You were always worthy, always seen, always chosen. The audience you sought was a crowd of finite people, but the applause you were really craving was the silent, steady, burning admiration of the only one whose opinion truly matters. And that applause has been thundering in the spirit realm over your life for years. You just could not hear it over the noise of your own doubts. But now the noise is gone, and all that remains is the serene hum of heaven's delight over you. This peace is your new atmosphere. It is a shield around your mind and a balm for your heart. When the old accuser returns, and he will find a different person dwelling in this house, a person resting in the certainty of a finished work. He will find you sitting at a table prepared in the presence of your enemies, not eating the crumbs of their opinion, but feasting on the solid food of divine acceptance. You are the guest of honor at the banquet of grace. The King himself has declared your righteousness through the blood of the Lamb, not through the sweat of your brow. What you felt was a desert season was actually the clearing of the land, so that a garden of supernatural provision and joy could be planted, without obstruction. And you know what the secret is to maintaining this peace. It is to let it be a river and not a pond. The blessing you have received was not given to you for you to keep it in a spiritual chest. It has been deposited in you for it to flow through you to others. Your healing becomes the source of healing for someone else. Your miraculous provision becomes the answer to a friend's or family member's prayer. The peace that now floods your soul is the same peace that will calm the storm in the life of those around you. You stop being a receiver to become a distributor of the grace that cost you so much to generate in secret. Your entire life thus becomes a living psalm, a powerful prayer that speaks without saying a single word. So close your eyes. Do not do anything else. Do not try to analyze it. Do not try to understand it with your mind. Simply receive it. Receive the embrace of the Father who screams how much he has admired you. Receive the rest of the warrior who has fought the good fight. Receive the promise that your latter days will be greater than your former days. What you lost will be restored manifold. What was stolen from you will be returned with heaven's interest. Your story of invisibility is over, and the first chapter of your visible legacy begins now, in the sacred silence of this room, in the intimacy of your own heart, sealed by the promise of the only one who looks at the soul. Heavenly Father, I thank you because your eyes see in secret and reward in the open. Thank you for seeing every tear, every act of kindness, and every sacrifice.